Alana, Jaylo.
Yes.
Usually I take the lead in this, but this time it's going to be you asking the questions.
It's going to be me, everybody. Yes. We decided to do things a little bit differently today.
Mm-hmm.
First off, how is your morning going?
It's going all right. I had a little bit of indigestion.
Oh.
So that wasn't fun.
Oh, that's not good.
I woke up a little bit after 6, used the bathroom. All I had to do was pee. Came back into the room and listened to this book called The Devil's Candy. It's about the making of the film Bonfire of the Vanities, starring Tom Hanks and Bruce Willis and directed by Brian De Palma. It's considered a really bad movie. I've personally never seen it.
Yeah.
But I'm in the middle of the book. They're shooting the movie. And where I left off when you were in the shower is they talked about how Tom Hanks was really friendly and people liked him on the set because he would always hang around. But Bruce Willis tended to sequester himself in his trailer with the people that he knew. So like his body double and security guards.
Wow. So he was he was more like isolating himself then.
Exactly.
Wow. Interesting. That's not good.
No.
Huh. But then you also said that some other people said that Bruce Willis is hard to work with as well.
I've heard that throughout the years. I don't know if you've ever seen the YouTube clip of Kevin Smith talking about his time working with Bruce Willis, but they were actually in a couple movies together. Well, okay, so Kevin Smith had a small part in one of the Die Hard movies. And by the way, I also think he talked about this in his book. Called Tough Hits.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least I think that's the name of it. It came out years ago. But anyways, he shot a scene for Die Hard. And word got back to Kevin that the director of the movie wanted it cut out. But that's right. Bruce Willis went above the director's head, called the people in charge of the studio, and got them to keep the scene.
Yeah.
And he said that should have been a sign because as an actor, that's really cool. But if one of my actors called the studio head above me and forced him to keep a scene in the movie, I'd be really pissed. But I didn't think about it at the time. Okay, so he's in Die Hard. Couple years later, Kevin Smith gets an opportunity to direct a movie. I think it's called Cop Out. I've never seen it, but it has Bruce Willis and Tracy Morgan. And he just tells these stories about Bruce Willis just not getting it. So for one example is there was, it was early on in the shooting of the movie. They're supposed to be shooting the scene outside. And he said that Bruce Willis was just like, didn't want to deal with anybody and was a complete prima donna. So that's what I've heard is that Bruce Willis is difficult to work for. I don't know that for sure, though. Now, in fairness, Kevin Smith is also friends with Robert Rodriguez. And I believe Bruce Willis was in 2 of his movies. And Robert Rodriguez apparently told Kevin Smith that he's had nothing but good experiences with Bruce Willis. So I don't know. I guess it varies from set to set.
Wow, that's not good at all.
No.
Not good at all. Especially if you're this big movie star and people know you because they didn't get along with you on the movie set. It's not good.
But also, how much of that is attributed to mental health issues? Because we know that he's going through some stuff. Now, granted, Bonfire of the Vanities was made in 1989, but we don't know is his particular mental health problem something that's been going on throughout his life, but it just gets worse as you get older? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That really is interesting and very troubling to hear that Bruce Willis was not an easy person to work with.
Well, I'm going to say something a little bit controversial, if you don't mind.
You say a lot of things controversial. So
I'm not really a big Bruce Willis fan.
Yeah.
I think he's the worst thing in Pulp Fiction.
Wow.
His section of the movie is a little bit boring to me. I've only seen one of the Die Hard movies. It was okay. It didn't blow me away. The only thing that I saw him in that I thought he did a good job was The Fifth Element.
Huh.
But he's playing a version of that same character, the likable guy who's out for law and order.
Uh-huh.
So,
Huh.
take that for what it's worth.
Okay. I don't know what to say about that, but okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It really is. I mean, I really do feel bad that he's going through some kind of a brain disease, a brain disorder. It's really sad. I don't like hearing about people going through that, even if they are hard to work with.
Yeah, because nobody wants to go through what he's going through right now, it sounds like.
Right. And it sounds like from what you said, it was pretty rare.
That's what I've read. Now, who knows how much of that is true and how much of this is fabricated. But and I've also heard that he's been going through it for a number of years. And that we as a public just didn't know about it.
We were not aware because he wasn't open about it.
Exactly, which is completely his right, because
oh yeah,
I'm not necessarily sure that if I was in his position, I'd want the whole world to know that I was going through this either.
Well, that's the same thing with Michael J. Fox. I mean, he had Parkinson's for a while and wasn't completely open about it until 2000.
He was diagnosed when he was getting insurance clearance to make the movie Doc Hollywood. Michael J. Fox was.
Yep.
And I believe he was only 31 at the time. The doctor said, don't worry, you have about 10 more good years. Based on that, he just started taking every part he could get because he wanted to make money for his family.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel really bad for Michael J. Fox. I've heard he's a nice man.
I heard that too. I heard he really is the kind of family man in interviews that, and he's been with his wife for several years. In fact, I don't know if you knew this. I think I might have told you this. But for those who are listening, his Alex Keaton's former girlfriend Ellen, the woman who played his wife Tracy Pollan, the woman who played Ellen ended up being his wife.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Yep. And they've been together for a long time, and I think they had children while he was still Alex on Family Ties.
Wow.
Yep. And he also dated Lauren, who was played by Courtney Cox, who would later go on to be Monica Geller on Friends.
She made a ton of money. She's probably the most successful actress from Family Ties.
And maybe she is. I don't know. And then, of course, she went on to do to make Cougar Town. And
Mr. Destiny. She's in that.
Okay. I don't remember seeing that one.
I like it. It's a Jim Belushi movie.
Okay.
And I know we talked about him yesterday in reference to the Blues Fest. But she's in that film with him and John Lovitz, who I believe was like family friends with Lisa Kudrow.
Really?
So it has
John
a
Lovitz?
weird, connection to Friends.
Oh, that's probably why. But he was so funny on both episodes, though. I don't know. I always thought John Lovitz had, he was a weird character on TV, but I always thought in some way he had something funny about him. I don't know.
Oh, I'm a big John Lovitz fan. I really enjoyed the show The Critic. It's not the best series ever, but it was fun for what it was.
I didn't watch it much, but I watched The Simpsons afterwards, so...
Yeah, I mean, The Simpsons is on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
But I thought for what it was in the 90s, The Critic was pretty good. And he makes me laugh. He was all right on Saturday Night Live. I feel oftentimes my trouble with that show is I don't know how good of a job they do with utilizing talent. Because we tend to think of people like Dana Carvey or Mike
Sandler.
Myers or Adam Sandler.
Yep.
And they were used well on that show. But then you could point to other people like Chris Rock or Damon Wayans.
Yep.
Or John Lovitz, who I don't feel were really used right. Or Gilbert Gottfried even,
Well, I mean, Damon Wayans and his brothers did well for themselves without Saturday Night Live.
They did, but how much better would it have been if he would have been allowed to flourish? Now, some of that was his fault, too. If you've ever read... I think Tom Sales wrote a book about Saturday Night Live, and he said that Damon Wayans was a little bit uncooperative, and that's why he's fired from the show.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was on the show.
It was for like 6 weeks.
But I mean, Eddie Murphy was one of those people who was used well from SNL.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that catapulted him to stardom after that.
Yeah, that was his big break doing that show.
Yeah. And I think Damon Wayans' big break was on In Living Color.
Correct. He had done other
Yeah.
stuff before that, but that was the thing that really threw him into the national spotlight. I always thought that he was going to have a bigger career. I know he did My Wife and Kids after that show.
And that was a big hit.
That was a big hit, but I always expected more from him.
He did Major Pain.
Yeah. Now, his son, Damon Wayans Jr., is good on The New Girl, but it's one of those...
I didn't know that his son was on The New Girl.
Well, yes. So what had happened was he did the pilot episode, and then he left the show to do another series. The series got canceled when The New Girl was in season 3. He comes back for 2 more years and then leaves it again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, I heard, back to John Lovitz, because we kind of got off of the track here.
Yeah, don't let me take over too much.
Yeah, you do a lot.
Oh, my God.
you kind of sidetrack a little bit, and we're like, we're on track. Anyway, I forgot what show this was on, but he did a musical number, and he was really good, actually.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, John Lovitz, I guess, sings as well, at least from what I heard on that show, and I don't remember what show it was, otherwise I would have said it.
Let me give you a John Lovitz recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fitting that we were talking about Kevin Smith earlier.
Uh-huh.
They did, I believe, a 10-part podcast called The ABCs of SNL. And all it is Kevin Smith interviewed John Lovitz in front of a studio audience. I believe each episode is around an hour to an hour and a half long. And it's super interesting, him going through his life. Yeah.
How did John Lovitz get into movies and, comedy? Because he is sort of like an actor, comedian.
Keep in mind, it's been about 10 years since I listened to this. So if memory serves me correctly, he started doing stand-up comedy, and I also believe he was involved with improv in some form. Oh, wow. And his dad was a doctor out in Hollywood. So he knew famous people through his father.
Oh.
Yeah. But double check that, because my memory is faulty.
I just think he's so zany, and he's just there's something about it that makes me laugh. I don't know what it is. He's just really kind of kooky and weird,
he's
a little
great.
Quirky. Yeah.
Underused talent.
I liked him in The Wedding Singer. I thought he was really funny.
He's great. He's great in pretty much everything he's in.
It's just... He was just singing Ladies' Night.
I believe we were talking about The New Girl. I believe he played a rabbi in an episode of that show.
Oh, that must have been funny.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, and on his very his only 2 episodes on Friends, I thought he was hilarious.
Nice.
Yeah. He was the bad date that Rachel was set up on.
Oh my goodness.
So great. It was great. Yes. He played a guy named Steve.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was really, I don't know, I thought it was funny.
Nice.
But,
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes.
Well, very interesting, Mr. Hammond.
Thank you there, Miss Jaylo.
And how did you sleep last night? I slept very, very well. I really did.
I slept well too. Usually when you go to sleep, I will just go on YouTube and watch a bunch of videos. And I was really curious this time because I found out that another home designed by Niall Naomi is on the market. Yeah. And I'm fascinated by this guy after the one.
Right.
I start watching the video, which is maybe 10 minutes long. There's a real estate guy out of Arizona named Scott. I forget his last name, but he releases videos each Friday, and I like his videos a lot, and he breaks down different things. But I fell asleep halfway through the video, and I didn't wake up until I got up to use the bathroom. Yeah. So it was a good night's sleep. I think we went to bed after 11:30 though, or around that time.
I went to bed around that time. Probably was close to 12 when I went to sleep. But I was gone. Nice. I was gone. I didn't even have to go to the bathroom until I got up, but I was gone.
Oh, that's good.
I was gone.
Oh, good. I'm glad you came back.
You know what I mean.
Yes.
Well, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Did you, we can get to the dream segment, but I just want to know, did you have any dreams last night?
None that I remember, no. And I've been noticing, babes,
Mm-hmm.
in recent weeks, I'll have these vivid dreams, but almost before I can get out of bed, they'll leave my head.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but once in a while we'll have really vivid dreams and you'll tell me about it.
Absolutely.
I think it's the same thing with me. Like, I'll feel like they're vivid, but they don't stick with me because they may not have been, maybe I wasn't supposed to remember them. Since we're talking about dreams, why don't I tell you about the most recent dreams I've had?
Tell me.
They were very strange, and there were 3 of them. The first dream I had the other day was actually on the same night as the other 2 dreams. I had a dream that I was back in college, and I was sitting next to this guy named Alex, who was supposed to be my boyfriend in the dream, and he played basketball, and we were sitting in this auditorium. That was weird.
Yeah.
Because I don't know any guy named Alex in college that I liked. I knew Alex's, but none of which I didn't know anybody in college that I liked that was, that had the same name. But anyway. Not that Alex is a bad name, it is a nice name.
No.
Anyway, and then I had this weird dream that I was talking to this athlete, and I told her, I said, well, I think I would be a terrible athlete because I don't like running and I hate swimming. And she was like, yeah, I don't like I think she was like a weightlifter. She's like, yeah, sometimes I don't like lifting weights, which is really funny because I used to lift weights back in the day when I was in high school, and I competed while doing that, and that's hilarious. And it's funny because as of now, I am considered a blind athlete.
That is awesome, Dabes.
As you know.
Yes.
So it was funny that I had that dream. And then the third dream was even weirder. I had a dream that you were over at my place for breakfast, and my mom was cooking some eggs over my skillet, and you looked at them and you're like, oh, great. I'm like, what? And you're like, now I have to eat them. I'm like, you don't have to eat them if you don't want to. And you're like, no, I have to. And you implied that the reason why you had to is because my mom made them. And then I woke up.
Yeah, I would, in real life, I still would not eat the eggs.
I personally think you're missing out.
Uh-oh.
But, I think you're missing out on good eggs because my family really does know how to make really good eggs.
Well, good.
Yes.
Yes.
So those are my dreams.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes. Now,
what?
I did write down a dream that I never read, but it's on my phone.
Uh-huh.
If you want to hold this, I can go and get it.
I can certainly hold it.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Hold
on.
You can keep talking. Right.
I decided not to talk because it was only going to take a couple minutes.
Oh my goodness.
So I decided not to talk.
It was not that long.
No.
Let me see. All right, so keep holding that.
Yes.
And maybe bring it closer this way. So hold it like this.
Yes. Are you laughing at me?
Yes.
Why?
Oh, young, because you were just like taking it away from me as I'm about to speak.
Okay.
All right. So let's see. I gotta find this stream because I keep telling myself I'm gonna bring this up because I think this is from like May 10th.
Wow.
Yeah, but I never brought it up. Let's see. And of course, my thing isn't doing what it needs to do.
Is Wi-Fi on?
No. It's not that. It wasn't scrolling for a second. But
okay.
I'll get there.
Did you leave it in your notes?
Yeah, I left it in my notes. Hold on. Ticketmaster, or as I call them, Ticketmaster betas.
Oh my goodness! Whatever. Whatever to you.
Oh, here it is. Okay. It's not the dream.
Okay.
All right. Let's see what I wrote down. I was in a hotel, supposed to be with my girlfriend in her room, but instead stayed with a friend. Almost got kicked out the first night, and they came back because we were arguing the second night. So I guess the security came back. Those were my notes.
That's weird.
Yeah.
We barely ever argue.
Well, it might have been another girlfriend.
No, you said I was in your dream.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you said that I was in your dream.
This was from May 10th.
Yes, I know, but you said that I was in your dream. I didn't know.
I said my girlfriend.
Yeah, that I was.
But we're polyamorous streamers.
Bubs. No, Bubs. You actually told me this dream in private.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
So and you said it was me.
Nice.
Bubs.
Okay.
Don't try to act like it wasn't.
I honestly don't remember it that well now.
Oh,
it's been like 2 months.
Yeah, I know, yes, but still, Bubs.
Okay.
It's almost too much to me.
Oh, I love you, babes.
It's only the 9th.
Nice.
Yeah. Hey, I think today is also the birthday of the girl that I went to school with.
Which one? Without saying the name.
The girl that we both know, who's...
Oh, the one that I want to recommend the movie Streetwise.
No.
Not that one.
No, I mean, yes, but that's not a good movie for her. The one that's a little bit syrupy, if you know what I mean.
Goodness.
Oh, goodness.
The one who I went out on one date with back in 2008.
Wow.
I want to say it was then because I think Obama was running for president.
That was like early to mid 2008.
No, this would have been August of that year.
Okay.
Because he had already won the Democratic primary.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that much about her. One of my friends, after I told him that I went out on a date with this girl, was like, "You're going out on a date with her?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "And you're you?" And he was taken aback by that. She had also known a couple of my ex-girlfriends, and she also knows you, so.
Yeah, she does. I know of one of them that she knows about.
Yeah.
But I don't know about the other one.
Oh. Well, good. Well, are you going to wish her a happy birthday?
No, because I don't have her information and she never called me back.
She refused to give it, or she refuses to call you, apparently.
Apparently not. So it's like, well, why should I,
Alana had me reach out to her on Facebook and give her, all the details, and she just doesn't want to call you.
I don't know why.
Well, you did used to like to tell her to shut up, though, or I remember.
No, that was one time because she was giving me attitude, and she was kind of, she was giving me attitude for whatever, and I think she told me to shut up. I'm like, don't tell me to shut up. You shut up, nice. And I wasn't gonna take any lip from her, so yeah, I did tell her to shut up one time because she was being a little brat. So.
Nice.
She probably doesn't remember it, but I do.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Otherwise, she was a nice girl, but I think she had a lot of growing to do. She
did.
I'll say it nicely.
Yeah.
She had a lot of growing to do.
Yes.
And unfortunately, she was a very troubled person.
Oh.
But nice girl, very troubled.
Nice.
Yeah. I'll just keep it at that.
Well, good.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, what else should we talk about? We had a pretty good dinner last night, didn't we?
Super easy. We made hoagies, which are kind of like these sub sandwiches, but a little bit smaller.
Yeah. I personally I do like hoagies on occasion, and I love the cheese that I got because I got the thick cut Tillamook cheddar slices, and you know how much I love Tillamook cheese. Yeah,
and then there's that dad joke that I just made up that everybody already knows. What do you call a prostitute? What do you call something that a prostitute wears when she's practicing martial arts?
What's that?
Hoagies.
Oh.
Because they wear geese in martial arts. It's a dad joke, babes, that I just made up.
Bad.
So
bad. That's almost as bad as a peanut joke.
Have we said that one here?
Oh, I don't remember if we did or not.
Okay, it bears repeating. This is something that Alana came up with.
I did not.
And I helped out. I helped out a little.
No, you came up with it. You came up with it. I did not come up with it.
I'm almost positive we said it here, but in case we didn't, what do you call a group of guys who have a urine fetish? Peanuts. We come up with good dad jokes.
No, you're the one who came up with it. You're the one.
I definitely came out with hoagies.
Oh, I remember when you sent your friend the joke, and I thought her reaction was pretty funny.
She's like, "That's funny, but ew."
That's gross.
Yes.
I did not come up with that idea.
Which one do you like better, that or hoagies?
They're both pretty bad.
Oh my goodness. I think that's the point of a dad joke, though.
No, but dad jokes are supposed to be actual dad, like dad jokes that they would actually tell their kids.
Oh.
I think the peanut joke is a little too adult for children.
But hoagies works, though.
No, they're adult for children.
Oh.
They're too adult for children.
What do you call something a prostitute wears once she's practicing martial arts? Hoagies.
Oh, my cousin, when she was younger, when she was little, she used to take karate classes. I think both of them did, and they used to wear gis.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah, those suits.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they used to wear gis.
Yes. See, now I want to start a martial arts class just for prostitutes.
Oh,
What?
Stop it.
Okay.
You have to become a sensei to do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, you have to actually. Don't you have to be Japanese to teach that?
No, you have to become a sensei. Now white people are teaching everything.
Yeah,
especially the white women. Oh, sorry, keep going.
Bubs.
I'm listening. Sorry, go ahead.
Never mind who teaches it. Anyway, my nieces and nephew a while back took taekwondo classes.
Nice.
And as you know, taekwondo is a Korean martial art.
Yes.
And so my brother-in-law was helping out with the class, and his friend was the one that was teaching it, and they really enjoy it.
Nice. I'm glad to hear that, babes.
Yes. What else can I talk about? I should bring this up.
What's up?
Because I told you some of the things that I was getting into last week, and one of the things that I was looking into, because as I've said, I really want to look for a flute ensemble, or at least an opportunity to perform again, and I'm looking into becoming a member of the Greater Portland Flute Society.
What are the requirements for something like that?
I think the only thing I remember about so when I was in college, I was a student member of the Seattle Flute Society. And I think it's because I was taking lessons and I was in college. I don't remember paying for membership.
Oh.
I have to look into that. It doesn't look like you have to, give any pieces of work or whatever. I think you can just join, but I think I have to check to see if there's any cost for that. I don't remember paying anything to be a student member because I was already taking lessons. I was required for my major.
Nice. Now, I know you know somebody who's working on some recordings this summer.
Well, she tells me that she's going to do that, but as far as I know, I don't know when it's going to happen. I should send her a text and ask.
Well, yeah, and to say, hey, I know you know I play music, but here's a little bit of my history. So you know I'm legit.
Oh my goodness.
What?
I should ask her just to see, when she's doing it. I think it would be kind of cool.
Yeah, to participate.
Yeah, if she lets me, though. I mean, she has to.
Yeah, you can't just
be okay with it. I can't just go.
But you could offer your services, and then you'd have an example of your work on recording. But I don't know if she has that good of a singing voice or not. So, and she plays piano, you say?
Well, she did. I don't know if she still does, but she sings. She sings.
Nice.
So, her piano thing kind of turned into like a songwriting thing, which I think is kind of cool. Actually.
That is actually.
Yeah. Yes. I never thought of myself as a composer.
I love you, composer.
Composer or a songwriter, so I never really got into that.
It's good to venture out though of your comfort zone and try something different.
Yeah. I don't know.
You should think about doing that.
I don't know. Maybe one day I will, but I like performing.
But that's part of performing.
People's works. Yeah, I understand, but I'm not. You know, some people are songwriters and composers who perform their stuff, but I'm not. I never got there yet.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like performing other people's things.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh
my goodness.
Yes.
Let's see. What else can I ask you? So that's a little bit into something I was getting into. Is there anything that you were looking into? Any ventures that you're either looking forward to or something that you want to look into more and see if you want to be a part of that?
I think I mentioned it here that I'm looking into possibly doing some murder mystery comedy improv.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, because a friend of mine is into it and he wants me to get involved. And I was a little bit concerned at first because this friend is, completely able-bodied. But he said that there are blind people he knows that are in this world too. So
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I want to check into that. I'm always looking for creative opportunities. Now, as you know, I have a love-hate relationship with spoken word poetry because I did it for so long.
Yeah.
And part of me feels really, really burnt out by that world.
Right now.
Yeah. But in the last maybe month or so, I've noticed myself coming up with ideas and saying, well, that might be an interesting poem, or I might have a unique take on this that people aren't really exploring. So I'm not saying for sure that I'm going to go back to doing it, but it's more of a possibility than it was at the beginning of the year.
That's interesting. Why did you feel burnt out? Why did you feel burnt out? Because of what was the thing that really made you feel a little bit burnt out?
Yeah, it's a culmination of a few different things. One of them is I felt that people were surpassing me in popularity, and there was nothing I could really do about it. And I guess a good way to explain that is because I'm blind, I can't really drive a car and go on a tour of different cities. But I know poets who do that.
Yeah.
And so they can kind of establish themselves in a way that's a little bit more difficult for me to do.
I understand.
Now, I've gone on tour, as you know,
yeah.
But there have been different circumstances behind that.
Yeah.
That are a little bit difficult to duplicate.
Yeah.
And so that was really frustrating, watching people who I felt weren't as talented as me get maybe the popularity that I feel I deserve, right?
You mean like they're doing more spoken word stuff?
They're doing more gigs. People are more excited to see them. And at the end of the day, let's be honest, part of that relates to blindness, but a big part of that is to do with the ego. Because what people like is what people like.
Yeah.
So there's that factor. There's also the factor of I've been doing it a really, really long time. And I was starting to feel that if you knew my take on a few key things, you could pretty much figure out what I thought about everything. So how original could I be?
Yeah.
Also, it feels like the environment in the spoken word world, and it's always been this way, but this is kind of crucial.
Yeah.
Is very, very cynical, right?
Yeah, it seems like that. It seems to me, from the little that I've been exposed to, a lot of people that are really passionate poets seem very cynical and angry.
Yeah, and I started doing poetry when I was 20. Like, I wrote it before, but when I started really getting into performing was about 2 weeks after I turned 20.
So this is like a good 20 years.
Close to it.
Close to 20 years.
The 20th anniversary will be coming up in early January of next year.
Wow.
But I was a lot more cynical back then. I'd gone through a few things that made me feel cynical. And as a result, it really didn't bother me. But as you get older and you have different life experiences, you realize that not everything has to be so cynical, that occasionally there is room for joy in your life.
Mhm.
Also, I was so obsessed with poetry that there were years to where it was always on the back of my mind.
Mhm.
Like if I would go to a party, I'd be thinking, how can I exploit this for a poem? Or if I was going through pain, a thought that would come into my head is, this sucks now, but it's going to make a great poem later.
Yeah.
And maybe you can do that a little bit. But if you do that too much, it starts to become a thing of, okay, dude, but when are you actually going to accept that these are real emotions instead of just trying to exploit it for your art? So I felt like I was living my life, but I wasn't really living it, because it was all about, well, how will this come out in my art instead of just being a human being?
Yeah, but does it have to? I mean, do you have to use your? How do I want to phrase this? I mean, number one,
Yeah.
does your poetry always have to be cynical? I mean, you can always choose to not write so many cynical poems. Number two, maybe it would be good. I mean, you don't have to display it in your art all the time, but you could even write poetry that doesn't even have to do with you.
Yeah, so a couple of different things. Not every poem has to be cynical, but I feel that the environment of the spoken word community is very cynical.
But it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be, but it is. And hey, I think I'm a great poet, but just because I'm a great poet doesn't mean that I'm going to change that by doing some, upbeat pieces once in a while. And that doesn't mean that I should never do the art form again,
Mhm.
but it does mean that I should be aware of, don't get so caught up in this that you lose your identity and just think of yourself as a spoken word poet.
You know what? I kind of felt like when I was in college and I was really getting into the flute world and doing ensemble performances and venturing into other ensembles and everything, and really trying to immerse myself in the music world, I was afraid that I was identifying so much with being a flutist.
Yeah.
Because it really, like, when you get when you find out what really interests you and what you're passionate about, I've heard that people make it their identity.
Exactly.
And I almost felt like I could have been burnt out, and it felt very demanding. And not only did it feel demanding, but I was the only blind person in the music department. So I kind of felt like there was a load on my shoulders, if that makes any sense.
I hear you.
And I didn't want to, and I'm thinking to myself, well, why do I feel kind of stuck right now? And I thought, well, I heard an interview with a guy named Townsend Coleman. Was it Townsend Coleman? I'm sorry, Andre Stoika, who is a voice actor. And he said that a lot of people that are creative feel like they have to make money doing what they like to create, but that's not exactly true.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do that. You can keep it on the side and do something else. And I was thinking to myself, do I have to make a living with music? Because there are other things that I want to explore that I might have strengths in too, but to keep music on the side as my hobby.
Yeah.
Not to get rid of it altogether, because some people get degrees in what they're passionate about, but they never do anything with it. They never keep it around anymore. And I don't want to be one of those people that completely rejects music altogether because it's too hard. And it is hard. But I'm thinking, I don't want to identify myself just as a flutist. It sounds so some people just consume themselves with that. And it's demanding, it's competitive, and it can really weigh down on you.
Same with poetry. And this comes back to part of the conundrum for me. When I sit down to write a poem, I can lose all track of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's been times in my life where I'll sit down to write a poem and like 18 hours will go by. I haven't eaten, I haven't showered,
Mm-hmm.
but I got out a really killer first draft of a poem. or maybe even 2 drafts of a poem. And that's great when you're in your early 20s, but maybe that's not so healthy when you're closer to 40.
Yeah, and also, when I was in college, a lot of my day was consumed with practicing, and I wanted to, practice for 2 to 3 hours. That was required of me, and it weighed on me so much because I had other things to do. I was reading, I had reading to do, I had writing to do, and 2 to 3 hours is a lot. I mean, and it also includes warming up, and that there were times during the day where I'm like, I didn't do my 2 hours, this is horrible. And I thought after a while I'm like, is it really, I mean, I know it's required to practice for 2 hours, but it just seems like like a daunting task.
Well, sorry to interrupt you, but there's the practice time. And I don't know if you experience this. I imagine most creative people do.
Mm-hmm.
If you really just don't want to be a carbon copy, there's also the research time. So, like, I would watch hours and hours of videos each day on other spoken word artists just to make sure that I was sounding different from them. I would read books about other people in the spoken word poetry field. I would listen to CDs from people in that world. I'd go to events and just assess, how am I different from everybody else that's doing it, to try to make sure that I wasn't just a carbon copy of Saul Williams. Now, I love Saul Williams, but that doesn't mean I need to be Saul Williams. It doesn't mean I need to be Taylor Mawley or Mike McGee. All great artists. But I do need to be Rick, and I do need to pay attention to so many people, and a lot of people who are way lesser known, but who are talented in that world. Blair, Ken Arkine, lots of great people. But you want to be you, and to be you, it requires not just the work of practicing, or in my case writing, but also doing the research and figuring out what sets me apart from these other people, and also what makes them them.
So it's a little bit different in the flute world.
Okay.
Slightly different just because when people are trying to find the best flute for them, everybody's going to have a different voice. And when you're going to a flute fair with all these flutes, and I know from experience because I had to go through 10 flutes before I found my voice, and what flute would really suit me. So even, there are people, flutists are going to sound different from each other because of the flutes that they use. And there's so many different types of flutes. There's Baroque flutes. You got the contrabass flute. You've got the standard concert flute. That's what they call the C flute. And you've got piccolos.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a given that people are going to be different and not play the same way either. Because I was told by one of my professors that I had nuance in my playing, and I thought, wow, what a compliment. That's great. I'm glad I do, because, learning how to be expressive. Someone also told me to listen to Bach arias, because if I wanted to play a Bach piece, an aria would help, because sometimes a voice can be, a person's voice can be connected to an instrument.
Yeah.
Because your voice is an instrument.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people have told me that, but I think it's a given that people are going to sound different in the flute world.
Yeah.
Because of what flute suits them.
I hear you, and that's interesting to me. And for me also, there's the writing aspect, there's the researching, and then there's also hours and hours and hours of rehearsing a piece. Yes. Because it's not just that you want to memorize the words, you want to find the feeling behind the piece.
Yeah.
So I compare it to film editing, right?
Yeah.
The first draft is the script, and the second and third drafts are the shooting or the rehearsal, and then the editing, which is in I also think of final rehearsals for the poem, and then the live performance.
Yeah, and I think what I've been struggling with for the last, I'd say 6 years
Yeah.
because I got back into really playing when I went to a local community college again, when I was studying music again, and doing open. I guess that would be 3 years because we were doing open mics, and we haven't been in the last 3 years. I think that's what I'm struggling with is finding, trying to figure out, well, because there wasn't anything to play for, anyone to play for, any event to play for, why should I be practicing? And I don't know if any creative person has thought about this, like, well, why should I be writing? Why should I be practicing? And it's a struggle for me. It's not that I don't ever want to practice, but the struggle I'm having is the why, if that makes any sense.
It does.
You know what I mean? I have you had that?
Absolutely.
Feeling?
Absolutely, I've had that feeling, and not just in the last 3 years, but it's definitely been amplified in this time. Why? Because it's like, okay, so I'll practice, and then I'll be prepared for when society opens again. So that sounds great, right?
Yes, it does.
But then you also think, well, yeah, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to get opportunities that other people have. And it becomes kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I know I've talked about this book ad nauseum, but The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, he talks about the desire to be lazy, the desire not to follow through, and he labels it as resistance. Yeah. This is resistance taking another shot at you to prevent you from achieving your goals.
And I really don't want to feel that way.
Yeah.
Because I believe that my flute playing is a gift, and I want to steward that gift because it was given to me for a reason, and I love it. But I want to like come back and play it with, come back to flute playing with a renewed sense of joy and a renewed sense of purpose.
Well, here, sorry to interrupt you.
What's that?
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
In the past,
yes,
how much time do you spend practicing songs that you want to learn versus practicing songs that you think you need to learn?
That is a good well, let's see. Let me think. I think I would probably do that for like an hour.
Okay.
30 minutes to an hour on a good day. 2 hours is a lot, but then I also would do warming up and technical stuff.
But I mean, how much of it is split between things that you think you should know versus what you want to know?
I think it was for the most part even.
Okay.
So it wasn't like I would practice, the piece that I was practicing because I was going to perform it.
Yeah.
Versus a piece that I wanted to do. That's a good question. I think it was even.
Okay.
And what I mean, the piece that I wanted to do was a piece I actually picked.
Yeah.
It wasn't a piece that my instructor picked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think it was even.
Nice.
But I'm looking forward to joining this society because I think that is going to help me get back on my way to where I was when I was immersed in the flute world. And slowly but surely, now that opportunities are slowly opening up for people, and I want to get back into it. And I did admit to my mom, it was like it might have been a few weeks ago when she was last here. I actually admitted to her, I don't know if music is something I want to make a living at anymore. That's what I thought, but I don't know if that's what I want. So I'm trying to figure that out too. And we'll just have to see what happens. I love music. I never want to get rid of it. But I also was told that you just because you like to create music and you like to play it, you don't have to be paid for it either. And that's an added stress too. So it's something I've been thinking about.
Yeah, it's all of this is about designing the type of life that you want to live.
Yeah. I don't want to. I love music, but I don't. I don't want to be. That I don't want that to be just my identity.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm more than just my instrument.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I'm glad I got that out of the way.
Well, good.
I feel better that I'm not the only one who thought this way.
No, definitely not. Again, poetry for me, it's a very love-hate thing. The arts in general is, because, I've done other things outside of poetry, but it's probably what I'm best known for. I've been with bands and I've toured doing different things, but there's a lot of people, I'll have this conversation with friends and they'll be like, Rick, sometimes I forget that you're a very high level poet until like you'll say something, or sometimes somebody will remind me that you're a poet. And that actually makes me feel good now, because, it means that I'm more than just a poet to some people. But it is really cool when you're out somewhere with a friend and some random stranger will come up and compliment you on your work. But as cool as that is that worth all the hassle that comes along with it? And I'm not sure it is.
Well, back to the resistance thing, because I just thought of something.
Yeah.
You're talking about how Stephen Pressfield was saying that that's resistance.
Yeah.
To me, it almost sounds like disobedience.
Well, resistance takes many different forms. And his thing is resistance, and I'm going to paraphrase, it is a name you can assign to anything that stands in your way creatively.
So anyway, that's what I've been struggling with, and I think it's hard to explain it to someone who is a non-musician that thinks that you should do anything and everything musically. And it's like, I can't explain it. I have a hard time explaining it to my mom because she doesn't understand. Regular
people who aren't in the arts, with some exceptions, just aren't going to get it. I have regular friends.
Mm-hmm. And I have regular friends too.
Yeah. And I think artists do themselves a bit of a disservice when they only hang around with other people in the performing arts.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
Because you don't get another perspective on life.
And then you've got the friends, I don't mean to interrupt, I'm sorry. You have the friends that dabble into it, like, I play drums once in a while, or I play a guitar once in a while.
Yeah, like Julia Cameron would call those people shadow artists.
Yes.
And so I don't want to make it sound like you shouldn't have regular friends, but for the most part, the people in your lives who are quote unquote normal aren't going to understand the artist struggles the way that artists do.
Right. But when that actor was saying that a creative person doesn't have to make money off of it, it really made me feel better.
Who said that?
His name is Andre Stoica.
Okay.
He is a voice actor for the radio show Adventures in Odyssey.
Nice.
And he was being interviewed by somebody on their podcast, and he was saying, I know a lot of people that are creative. If you can make money at it, great, but you don't have to.
Yeah, I do. I agree with him. The only thing about being creative is I do think you have to create in some form.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, like we're doing this, and that helped me a lot during the pandemic.
Of course. And writing the book too.
Yeah.
And we're not done yet, but that really helped me with putting ideas together. I'm glad you liked my ideas. I'm glad that you liked how I was able to make it kid friendly, because I know a lot about being around kids when I was a kid. And knowing about what would make kids want to read this book. And I'm glad that you said that. Yeah. And that's another thing I like too is writing. I like creative writing. Mm-hmm. I always liked creative writing. And that's another way to be creative. And it really is helping me a lot.
Absolutely. And there's so many things you could do. Like you could write an op-ed for the newspaper. And you say, okay, well, it's not coming up with characters, but it's being creative with commentary. You could send in like a radio commentary to someplace like NPR, or, I know you're more conservative, the conservative version of NPR. There's just all these different things you could do with writing.
But writing is great. I like putting my ideas. I like playing with words.
Mm-hmm.
I like articulating myself with writing, and my mom has always told me that she thought I was a good writer.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you now think I'm a good writer.
Yes.
I wanted to do something fun with that, and it's
and it's weird. Like, I feel out of my element, and this is a complete ego thing, but it's the truth. I feel like in American spoken word poetry, when I was really doing it, maybe there were people in the English language world who were as good as me, but I don't think there was anybody better than me. But going into writing a book, it's like I'm an amateur again. I'm a newcomer. I'm not Rick, who is like knows his abilities and knows that he's at this super high level. I'm just Rick coming in and having to be humble. And I kind of like that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I've never written a book before either, but I liked sharing because I told you that I was really I pride myself on being good with grammar and things like that.
And I'm really bad with that stuff.
And I was so glad that we were writing it together, because I said, "Oh, I can help with grammar. I can help with this."
Yeah.
Because English was one of the classes that I excelled in, and I liked it. It interested me. Spelling, grammar, punctuation, all of that. Articulating yourself and making it funny or making it serious with quotes or that interests me too.
Yeah.
So I don't just like performing music, but I also like writing creatively too.
That's awesome.
Even though I have no desire to be a full-time writer, but it's something I like to do creatively as well.
If I could relive my life, which is one of my big fantasies, knowing what I know now, I'm not saying that I would just be a writer and focus on books, but I definitely would devote more time to doing that type of stuff. Yeah.
Yes. But I'm looking forward to opportunities. I'm looking forward to make my way to becoming a part of this society, because I think it's going to really help me get back into performing again, because I liked it. It makes me nervous. Yeah. But I liked it anyway.
Well, that's good. You're supposed to be a little bit nervous when you're doing art.
And a friend of ours that we haven't talked to in a while, that was a part of the arts, who used to be at the open mics that we participated in. She said, well, it's a good thing that you're nervous before you go up on stages, because you're serious about your craft. So
I disagree with that a little bit. I think it's good to be nervous when you're putting together a piece.
Yeah.
But when I go up on stage to do poetry, I'm almost never nervous. Like, in some ways, I feel more comfortable on stage in front of an audience than I do when I'm at home by myself just chilling out.
Now, I don't like being nervous, but it is a way to push me to really pay attention to what I'm doing.
And each person's process is different too, in relation to the art. So when I'm playing guitar on stage, I feel very nervous.
Yeah.
And I do get nervous sometimes doing poetry if it's a smaller crowd. But my rule of thumb is, if it's a large crowd and all I have to do is some poetry, I'm super chill about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What really makes me nervous is when I'm about to go up on stage and I know that people are looking at me because they're quiet. I can't see their faces, but I know they're looking at me because their attention is on me and they're quiet. I'm like, oh, that's it. This is it.
Nice.
And even though I'm, like, if I'm performing with an accompanist, the accompanist is also watching me because I'm in control of the piece. And I have to, if I'm lost, she can find, or he can find where I am.
Yeah.
And, I have to go on with the show. If I get stuck, I just find a way to go on. So,
yeah.
what?
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, There was the example I could think of with you was it was somewhat early on in our relationships. In our relationship, I can't speak today as usual.
Yeah.
And there was a Christmas party. You were working with somebody who was playing piano, and you said you had difficulty with this person.
No, that was before.
Okay.
That was before. I think we handled her rehearsal very well, and I didn't have to give a lot of direction.
His rehearsal.
Huh?
The Christmas party?
The Christmas party rehearsal, yes.
Yeah.
I think I handled it pretty well.
With this dude.
Yeah.
Nice.
But when we were performing at an open mic before that, I guess I should have been clear, like, hey, because I didn't know how this guy played.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he was going to go off into different directions, and I kind of had to follow him. But what is really supposed to happen is you're supposed to follow the soloist. And I got a little confused, but I'm glad that during rehearsal, we didn't have any problems.
I am too.
But the open mic was hard because he started improvising, and all I wanted to play was a version of Hello by Lionel Richie, which shouldn't have been, completely, off the beaten path, I guess. And he kind of decided to do that, and I'm thinking, okay, where am I gonna come in? And right, and so I was like, okay, this is gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't feel nervous working with him. I just wanted to make sure that we had everything agreed upon, and it worked.
Nice,
so,
nice.
Yeah, and would you say that you liked our music in the background there?
It was good.
Good. Very good.
Good.
I think that was good.
Good.
So I had a good time performing as much as he did.
Nice.
So, as he is a good musician, I think he needs to take I think, musicians like that, doesn't matter who it is, they need to learn how to take, let the other person take the lead.
Yeah.
And not go on a improvisational tangents here.
Yes.
Or whatever you call that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Well, I think another creative avenue is movies.
Mm-hmm.
And we watched a documentary and then a movie from the 60s. And I think I'll give a brief synopsis of a documentary from the 80s called Streetwise in 1984, correct?
I believe it was either 84 or 85. We're going to go with 84.
Now, this documentary we didn't know anything about because none of us saw the documentary, and honestly, for the first few minutes, I already felt like this was a really disturbing documentary.
So I want to interject real quickly.
Yeah.
I found out about it this week because I occasionally will go down a Siskel and Ebert rabbit hole on YouTube. I'm obviously a film fan, and I grew up in the 90s, so of course I'm going to be a fan of theirs. And I had watched a best of list of films from a particular year. I want to say it was 85, but it might have been 84. And they're saying, okay, these are the films that really stood out this year. And on both of their top 10 lists was Streetwise, which I had never heard about before this particular YouTube video earlier this week. So that's why I recommended it to you, because they both loved it.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
But I mean, from the first few minutes of that documentary, I thought it was very disturbing because the two kids that you see, one of them, I don't know what his street name was, but his name was Dwayne, and the other kid's name was Rat. He was that was a street name. I don't know how they come up with these street names, but they have them, and they were kind of following each other around. Dwayne, I don't remember what happened to Dwayne's mom, but his father was in a penitentiary for a very long time. And Rat came from California. He kind of had this like southern drawl. I don't know why. I'm like, why are you having a southern drawl? You're from California. You don't talk like that over there. And he talked to his mom and wanted to know if she wanted to know if he was okay, or and they were talking, and and she and his dad got a divorce, and I guess he didn't handle it very well. And I think they talked to each other one last time, and she wanted him to come back home, but he didn't call her back anymore and hung up on her and didn't want to call her back. And it sounded like Dwayne didn't really care if he ever saw his parents again or his family again, and it was sad. And they seemed really young. Like Dwayne was almost 17.
It was more like he was almost 17, but he looked like he was like 12.
Yeah, I guess he was malnourished.
Yeah.
And he wasn't. It just seemed like he was either 12, like between the ages of 12 and 14, and Rat seemed really young too.
Around the same age. And I'm like, these kids are so young. And then there was a girl named Erin who went by Tiny, as her street name was. She got into prostitution. I think she was 14.
And she was hanging out with these girls on the street. She would visit her mom on occasion. Her mom was really very much an alcoholic. And what was really disturbing to me was that her mom didn't really do anything to get her off the streets, because she's like, yeah, she's 14 years old. She'll do what she wants to do. And I'm like, well, if you were a good mom, you would do whatever you could to get her off the streets, because she would be better with you. But then her mom had a really bad drinking problem, and she needed some help as well. So she wasn't exactly the most stable person. And Tiny was like, yeah, I want all this makeup. And her mom's like, how are you going to get all that?
Yeah.
And, she was saying that she didn't like having sex with these men. She just was in it for the money. It's all. And it was tragic. And she was talking to all these girls that were on the corner. And this other woman, her name was Llewellyn. Or I guess she called herself Lou, I don't know.
Yeah.
But she was trying to take care of these girls, because nobody was taking care of the girls, and trying to get them away from the Johns. And I thought that was very, very, dangerous. And she was also being harassed because of how she looked.
Yeah. She was a lesbian, but she was also very masculine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was very masculine, but she really wanted to take care of these young girls.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing she was much older than them.
I think she was in maybe her early 20s.
Yeah, and she's probably, she's been through a lot by then. But she really wanted to take care of these girls because nobody was protecting them from these men, these really creepy men that wanted to sell them off. And she was harassed a lot. There were some guys that were in the documentary. I think 2 of them were pimps. And the other one got into like sort of a confrontation with a street preacher that wanted to have a shelter for homeless people to stay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was a shelter for homeless people to be housed and to be for them to get help with getting back on their feet again. I think
it's just like a bed.
It was like a bed and
maybe some food.
Right. And the guy that was talking to the preacher really made sense, because he was saying, all it is we're going to give you money, and it's not going to go to us, but it's going to go to them for your big car, your big house, and your big wife, your wife or whatever. And he made a lot of sense, because a lot of pastors were, not all, but there were some pastors that profited off of people's emotions just to get the biggest and the biggest and better thing for them. And he didn't make a lot of sense, but it sounded like he had some kind of a rapport with the preacher in some ways.
In that one scene.
Yeah, but you don't know what happens afterwards.
Who knows if they ever talks again after that?
Yeah, but I like that the guy was willing to at least talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he wasn't like completely dismissive.
I thought that was cool too.
And the preacher kind of giggled at what he said.
Yeah.
But he said, "Yeah, sure. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you sometime." Yeah. And there was another scene, and I mentioned this last night, about the guy that went to see his grandma and his mom, and even though they were not going to give him just any kind of money for him to do what he wanted to, they said, use your money wisely, and if you ever get straight, you have a house to come to.
Slight correction. I think
Right?
they went out to the street to see him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, they went out to the street to see him. But it seemed like they were really nice ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were genuinely saying, you do what you have to do, but if you want to be straight, then you come home and you stay with us. And it seemed like they really loved him a lot, and they wanted to give him some food.
Yes.
Yeah. Those are the only people that I felt like really wanted to help out their boy. And then you've got the other girls, Shelly, Patty, and Roberta. Really messed up situations.
And part of it we're going to get to when we do the postscript to this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit on that?
About what we did, the research after this, we watched this film?
Well, I'll talk a little about the girls.
Okay.
I don't really know much about Shelly, but she was mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Patty was living in this home where she was told that if you're going to stay here, you have to have job therapy, and she was very resistant to that, very defiant. Roberta went back to see the mom, and she had a bunch of kids, and she was making a claim like, well, you knew that my stepdad was hurting me, and you didn't do anything about it, even though I told you.
Mm-hmm.
And I can understand why she was very upset with her mom.
And I believe was it Patty who was talking about how she was adopted, and one day she wanted to find her real parents because in her mind she thought that maybe her parents would be rich.
Right. I think her friend was like, yeah, you never know, you could have like rich parents.
Yeah. And then Tiny was telling the story near the beginning of the movie about how she never knew her dad, and for all she knew, her dad could be like one of the Johns out on the street that she ends up sleeping with.
I thought that was really disturbing to hear that. I thought it was kind of like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it that way, but that's kind of sick. So that was very disturbing, to say the least. And what was even tragic about this movie is that Dwayne, I don't know what his street name is, but he's one of the first kids you see in the movie. He ends up hanging himself.
Yeah.
Before that, he was going to be taken home by this lady named Kim, who was really messed up too, but she wanted to get him out of the situation he was in.
And there was speculation that his dad was going to be released from prison, but we didn't know when. There's a scene where Dwayne goes to see his dad in prison, which is an interesting scene.
It's an interesting scene because I found it kind of hypocritical.
Yeah.
Because his dad's like, you shouldn't be doing that. And I'm thinking, what this kid needs is for his dad to say, you really need to get out of this situation. And I know you're doing some things you shouldn't be doing, but I'm not going to yell at you for it because I was a really bad example.
Exactly.
Instead of saying, what are you doing, you punk? And I'm just like, and I'm thinking, okay, I know you're trying to be a good dad in this scene, but what he really needs is actual help to get out of that situation. Not
just you yelling at him, but maybe giving him resources where he could get help. Or telling him, okay, well, we have this relative here, and I don't know the dad's particular situation. Something tells me that he had a pretty rough life too.
Right.
But you're right. It is a little bit hypocritical to say this when you don't know when you're going to be getting out of jail.
Exactly.
And your kid has to fend for himself.
Right. And he's not doing anything to... We don't know exactly what he's doing to convince the parole board that he's eligible to get out.
That he should get out.
Or that he should get out at all. So that I thought it was really hypocritical. Not that it was too late for his dad to make a difference in his life, but I think if he's going to tell him that, he should say, hey, you really should go to your aunt's place. You really should go to your uncle's place or whoever it is because they really want you home.
And if you can't do that, if for whatever reason, maybe the dad was an orphan and maybe the mom was also an orphan and now she's dead, I just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe you say, okay, well, I asked, a police officer in here or a guard or somebody, and they told me that these are some resources you could take advantage of.
Right. I mean, a shelter that would house him and also help him to get educated because he missed like 2 years of school already.
Yeah.
And he's probably really much behind.
Yeah.
It was tragic. It just seemed like nobody wanted him. At least, that one woman was temporarily going to house him. Now you had an interesting, you thought that, something interesting about this woman that I didn't even pick up on because I didn't think that there was anything to pick up on. What did you say?
Well, I said, now, was it Dwayne or was it Rat?
Dwayne.
Okay.
It was Dwayne.
Dwayne who got picked up by the woman.
Yes.
Okay, so the woman was 20 years old and she had a baby. I don't know if it was Dwayne's kid. I don't know whose kid it was. But my feeling was that pretty much everybody involved in the situation knew that they were in a relationship. And I'm not talking platonic.
I didn't think that they were in a relationship.
Yeah, I absolutely felt that way.
And what made you feel that they were in a relationship?
Why would a 20-year-old with a kid who seems like she's struggling herself from the 30 seconds we see her in the film come up and pick this kid out of juvie?
Well, I thought that she might have been one of his relatives. To me, it didn't imply that they were actually in a relationship.
I don't think they say that in the movie.
So I don't know. I have no idea.
Maybe it's a quick mention and I missed that part of it, but I don't think that's ever said.
Yeah, I don't.
Which to me, now there is the thing said of I want a family with her. I believe it's something to that effect, and so that's the sense that I got is that they're like in an open type of relationship.
That they're actually together.
Yeah.
Even though she could be arrested for that, I guess. I don't know. I guess it depends on the state, though, but.
And I don't know. And this was also the 80s. Things were different back then.
And he seems like a kid that did not. I mean, he seems very young for his age. I don't even know if that kid has reached puberty.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah. So that might not be his kid. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm less sure about the kid thing than I am about them being a couple in some form.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know for sure. I wasn't there, but this was the sense I got from watching the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've established that Wayne dies.
Yeah, Dwayne dies. Yes.
Dwayne dies. I'm sorry. What did you think of what the caseworker said about the funeral? How it was his dad in handcuffs and like a couple people from the state who had worked with Dwayne over the years.
Yeah, that was really sad.
Yeah.
It was really sad. There was more people at, I think, Lou's funeral than there was at his.
There's a lot more people from what it sounds like.
Yeah, there was a lot more people, and it's like, it seemed like, he was just a number. He was just a case.
And they show him in the casket, and it's really weird to see. It's jarring for me to see him in the casket.
Did you actually see his face?
You saw his face, but it was like for a quick second, and it's like eyes are closed. It was tough to watch, that part.
So sad.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess the postscript to this movie is how many people from the film died within a short period of time. So, Dwayne, obviously. Lou died like a year after the movie came out. She was stabbed, I believe.
She was stabbed, yes.
In 1987, February of that year, Roberta, I guess she'd come up to Portland, where we live, and she'd gotten into some trouble and was arrested. She got released from jail in February of 1987, and that was the last time she was seen. And about 4.5 years later, her body was discovered.
Mm-hmm.
And about 10 years after that, they put together that Gary Ridgway was the Green River Killer. He's arrested. Because he committed crimes in Washington, he's eligible for the death penalty. To avoid that, he confesses to all the murders that he committed. And one of the first ones he confesses to is that of Roberta.
Yeah, it's very sad. It's so sad. I wish they would have gotten into a little bit more about Aaron, who went by Tiny, and other people as to why they ended up on the streets.
Yeah.
Because we don't really know much about how Dwayne ended up on the streets. We don't know how Rat ended up on the streets. I don't know what his real name is.
Yeah, so real quick, the other thing I wanted to say about Roberta, and it's not touched on in the film, I don't know if she had 5 kids when the movie was made, but by the time she died in 1987, she had 5 children. So my guess was she had to have a few by the time they were making this film, and that's never said in the movie. And it doesn't need to be said, but it does make her situation a little bit more tragic when you consider that she was killed by a well-known serial killer when she was 21, and she already had 5 kids.
So sad.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron, aka Tiny, ended up having 10 kids.
Yeah, and they did a sequel to Streetwise about her specifically.
Yes. Oh my goodness. No, they didn't.
Yeah, no, they did.
They did.
They did.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We haven't watched it.
That's right.
But it said that on Wikipedia, and I watched an interview with Martin Bell, the director of Streetwise.
So they did a sequel to it.
Focusing on Tiny.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I guess the filmmakers kept in contact with her over the years.
Wow.
The person who was confrontational with the minister.
Yeah.
He died of HIV in 1993, right?
That was Patty.
I'm sorry, that was Patty who died.
No, Patty died of HIV or AIDS.
You're right.
He got killed.
He was stabbed. He lived until 2017, and he was stabbed.
That was very sad.
It's really interesting that, like, 3 of our main protagonists who were young didn't make it past the 80s. Like, they were dead within 3 years of this movie being released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sad.
Yes.
And it's sad because they just felt like they weren't loved. They weren't cared for. They certainly weren't cared for. And they had I don't know about the guy that was killed, but Roberta, it sounded like the mom was in and out of her life, like you pointed out. And she was not being taken care of. She was just kind of out on her own trying to figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounded like Aaron's mom, Tiny's mom, was trying to do the best she could, but she had her own problems and trying to take care of herself too.
This is a really interesting time capsule because it was made when we were really, really little, so we weren't really aware of the world around us.
No, we had a very, very different world.
Yeah, and 2, it was shot in Seattle, and if you know the Northwest, it's very close to Portland.
We are the Northwest.
No, but I'm saying Seattle is very close to Portland.
Yes.
And we both spent time in Seattle. Like, I've never lived there, but I've been to Seattle on many occasions. And you know that area pretty well. So it's a different type of a movie for me.
Yeah.
And something that I thought about last night when I was reading about Roberta, especially, that she has that connection to the Green River Killer.
Yeah.
And in relation to all the kids in a way, it's like we can feel sympathy for watching them. But this is a weird time capsule. Like, we can't do anything about their situations.
We can't, yeah, because some of them are have moved on and had kids. I mean, Rat has gotten married, had kids, and grandkids.
Yeah, and according to Wikipedia, which take it with a grain of salt, he's doing okay in life right now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but what can this film... You're the one supposed to be asking the question, so I'll stop it at this. But what can this film teach us about reaching out to others and to help them?
Well, that's interesting. Like I said, I really wish that they would have gone into a little bit more detail about how these kids ended up on the streets, because it didn't go into that many details.
Yeah.
Some of them came from divorce. Some of them were molested. Some of them probably got into drugs. We don't know exactly how they ended up on the streets and why they don't want to go home. But I just can't. I mean, I think back to my teenage years, and I never thought about wanting to roam the streets of Seattle or whatever city I was in. That never crossed my mind. And I think it's because I was safe and I felt loved in where I was living, and I didn't have to do that. I didn't feel like I had to fend for myself. And that's tough. I don't know how to answer that question.
That's fair. I don't know how to answer it either.
I really don't. Now, I did volunteer when I was 19. I did volunteer at a homeless shelter for a project I was doing for high school. And that also was an eye-opener too, even though I was only doing that for 5 days, for a couple of weeks, 5 days a week. And there were times where I had to turn women away because it was at a women's shelter, a women's gospel mission. And I had to turn women away because there were no openings. There were no beds available. That was really hard to do. And then come New Year's Eve, that was my last day that I was there. There was a girl that was around my age that was dropped off by her uncle because he thought that she was getting drugs for her brother's Nintendo. Selling her brother's Nintendo for drugs, is what I'm trying to say. And she got into a lot of trouble, and they had to turn her away because there was no room, and they had to give her a place, a number for a place to stay. And it was really sad because she was crying. She was in tears. And it's like, what do you do in those situations? Then she's back out on the street again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was very sad. It was very, very sad. And there was nothing I could do about it. I was just a receptionist for those 2 weeks.
Yes.
But that's what I did, and it really was an eye-opener. And I know there are a lot of people that have their own, qualms, I guess? Not qualms, but, was it reservations?
Yeah, reservations could work.
Reservations for why they don't want to be around the homeless community, and I get that. But I think that each case is so different. Some people do have mental illnesses. Some people are high on alcohol and drugs because they want to be. Some people choose to be that way. It's very hard to decipher what is, what each case is.
And what does it say about our society that I wouldn't say we're enjoying it, but we're willing to live in a society where so many kids are homeless. So it's not like these are adults, for the most part, who are choosing to be homeless because they'd rather get high. But these are kids who the system has failed them.
Yeah, a lot of them have fallen through the cracks.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are homeless. They're a part of a family and they're homeless, which is even tragic as well. That when complete families that are intact are in poverty, it is very, very sad too.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a good experience, but also a very, very sad and eye-opening experience for me. And just thinking about these kids that are on their own in this documentary with some family to come back to, but then the family knows we have to drop them off on the streets. And I was asking myself during this documentary, well, why are they dropping them off on the streets when they could stay with their moms or their relatives? Why do they have to go back?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm asking. Why did the parents feel like, well, okay, I'm going to drop you off and then I'm going to go back to my house? I don't get it.
Bad parenting.
It's very bad parenting. Except for the grandma and the mom. I think they really wanted him to get straight.
Well, yes. And I would make the argument that we only know the grandma and the mom for maybe a minute or two in that film.
Yes.
And we don't know what they were doing when he was growing up.
We don't know either. But they from all intents and purposes, when we were watching that scene, I felt like they really did love this kid.
Mm-hmm.
And they would have taken him with them, but he wasn't exactly doing well. But at the same time, I'm thinking, well, why couldn't they have? So I don't know. I go back and forth with it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or would the kids go back with their families if their families asked them, hey, we want you to come home already. We don't want you to be out there. Some kids don't want to do that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I go back and forth with it.
Yes.
I don't know if I'd watch this again. It was very disturbing and tragic.
Are you going to tell your family about it?
I don't know. I don't know if they'd want to watch it. I don't know if they're really in documentaries.
Oh.
To tell you the truth, I don't know. But it was good. I'd give it a 7. But very disturbing and tragic.
Most likely I will watch it again at some point in the future. Probably not for a while, though.
Yeah, it really sticks with you.
It does.
Really makes you think about your own situation, and really the both of us are very blessed to be in these situations.
I'm very glad I've seen this movie, even though it's so tragic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess I would say privileged.
Oh.
To see it.
Nice.
Not that I'm glad to see it, but it really is an eye-opener.
And I think of the things that so many people from this documentary missed, right? Because, I mean, they died so young, a lot of them. And they missed Google.
Yes.
They missed
streaming
YouTube.
Services. Yep.
They missed Facebook, and I know that those are kind of privileged things. Yeah. And it's discounting. Well, they missed birthdays. Yeah. They missed holidays.
They missed prom.
But the reason I say it like that, even though it can sound callous, because I gave kind of surface things that they missed, is because it's things that we can all relate to. Like not every family has a family where they had birthdays and shared cups of coffee together.
Yeah.
But they missed, like, if you would have gone to Lou the day before she died and said, hey, Google something, she would have had no clue what that meant.
She'd been like, what is that?
Yeah.
That was like way ahead of her time. Way past, they would not have thought, oh yeah, we're going to have a thing where we can go online and research anything. That
makes me think, babes, that you couldn't really do this documentary today.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. And in that way, that makes it more of a snapshot of its time.
Right. Yeah. Right. Because, I mean, we grew up in such a different time, and, our teenage years in the 90s were so different than the teenage years of somebody in the 80s. So different.
And it sounds weird to say because it's only like 10 years difference.
It is.
And also the people who were coming of age in like the late, 2010s is so different from when we were coming of age.
Absolutely.
In the 90s.
I mean, we think, how much easier these kids have it now, right? But when we were growing up, we had to really, order books to research for our projects.
Yeah.
And we had to use payphones if we were somewhere we didn't have a phone, and we had to be at home to get a phone call, and we had to be at home when our show is playing, because if we weren't, we would miss it entirely. So it's so interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's also, if this, like, a big reason this film couldn't be made today is because if you try to talk to kids in that world, they probably already have videos up on YouTube. So it kind of takes away from their story if you could get it anywhere.
Yeah.
And this, it's like, these kids are kind of like caught in time in a strange way. It's very interesting to me.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It really makes you think.
Yes, it does.
Because in 1984, I was still in preschool.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't know much. Yeah. Okay. I was learning how to be a good blind girl.
Oh my goodness. Very good, babes.
Yes.
Yes.
So, anyway, that was Streetwise.
Very powerful film.
Yes.
Yes.
In more ways than one.
Yes, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Well, let's see. Let's go on to the last movie we watched, which it's a mad, 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 mad world.
Basic premise. A man gets into a car accident. Some strangers stop to help him. And the guy says there is $350,000 buried in a park. Now, this movie came out in 1963. That's a lot more money back then.
Yes, it was.
So they kind of discuss it. They go along their separate ways. And everybody tries to get to the money. There's tons of shenanigans. More people join on the quest for this money. There's a lady who is like the mother-in-law of Milton Berle, who's really annoying.
And she's a loudmouth, and she doesn't listen to anybody talk, and she calls people idiots and morons.
Spencer Tracy is the cop who's been trying to crack this case for years. He's also having issues in his personal life.
Yep.
Eventually, they all end up at this national park. They're supposed to be looking for a W. And Milton Berle's wife puts it together first that the trees around them are kind of shaped like that.
Yep.
So he tells Spencer Tracy this before they can do anything about it. Everybody else puts it together. Spencer Tracy tries to steal the money. There's shenanigans. They all end up at the hospital. And the last scene of the movie, the mother-in-law of Milton Berle slips and everybody starts laughing.
And they start laughing and say, "Hey, get away from me." And they're kind of crowding around her, right?
They're kind of just laughing at her.
Yeah.
As the nurses come to pick her up.
It's like, "Hey, get away from me."
There's a good movie in this film, but it's...
A good what?
A good movie in this film.
A good movie in this film.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's close to 3 hours. And there's a lot of characters to follow.
There's a lot of characters to follow. It was definitely an ensemble cast. I think Jimmy Durante was the guy that died. That also includes Jeff Bergman, who we believe was the hippie Hitler in The Producers.
Yes.
And I think you're right.
We have not confirmed that though.
Okay. I think it was, and then there was also a guy that sounded just like Gilbert Gottfried.
But we know it's not him because Gilbert Gottfried was like 10 when this movie came out.
Yeah,
it did sound a lot like him though.
It did.
Yeah,
I can't believe he died.
I know.
This is just this year, right?
Yeah, a couple months ago. Wow. I mean, everybody knows him from Problem Child.
Yes.
But I, obviously being a Howard Stern fan from back in the day, I think about
was he on Problem Child?
Yeah, he played the guy who ran the adoption agency.
Oh.
But I think of him more as he used to come in and do the news with Howard and Robin like a couple times a year, and so I think of him more from that than anything else.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I was surprised when you told me that he doesn't sound like that, because every time I've heard him on interviews, he's always sounded like that.
Yeah, but he's not in this movie.
Okay, but you said that Howard played recordings of him on an answering machine?
Yeah, when he called their office once or twice. This was maybe 20 years ago.
I just can't, because Gilbert Gottfried, everybody knows his voice, is like, I just can't understand why, and I can't imagine him with a different voice than that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it was totally different.
It was very different. Kind of weird, yeah.
Was it lower?
No, I could play it for you sometime. It's different though.
My goodness.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean there was one part when when this guy was calling his wife Ginger. I forgot what his name was. And Ginger's kind of annoying too. Mm-hmm. And she's like, "What is it? I have this biscuit dough."
I was like, "We cracked the case that I've been working on for 25 years.
Yeah, and we're going to Hawaii. Are we taking our daughter Billy Sue? No. We're gonna go by ourselves.
That was Spencer Tracy. Yeah.
Yes, and Billy Sue was crying because she was
Yeah.
on the, she was gonna get on the
A
bus, and she's like, Billy Sue, listen to your mother. You have to talk to your mother.
There's really good stuff in this movie. I think films suffer not only from too much time, but also too many characters. Like that's a thing that I've been having issues with ensemble films as I get older. It makes it too difficult to follow for me.
Well, so I told you about that film that was a disappointment to me called Valentine's Day.
Okay.
And it had an ensemble cast with like Jamie Foxx, Taylor Swift, and there were some other people in it, and it was disappointing. It wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm like, why did I watch this? It was terrible. I was disappointed.
Yeah.
And it was very much advertised, and I'm like, oh, so disappointing.
Oh.
Taylor Swift was not a good actress. And,
Nice.
I don't know. It wasn't good. But
good.
That's what I thought about. I won't show you that movie.
Oh, good.
I will spare you.
Thank you, babes.
But this movie, I'd give a week 7 because it was too long.
Yeah, there were some good things in it.
There were some funny things in it. It definitely had, I kind of liked the animated thing in the beginning when they were doing the credits.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of a funny added thing. But it was too long and it was too many characters to follow. And that's all I would say about that.
I would agree, babes.
But I liked it, for the most part.
Yeah, I'd give it about the same.
Very good.
Very good, babes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you would like to talk about?
Not that I can think of, babes.
How did you think I did?
I think you did all right. For a first timer, you did good.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. This is definitely different for me. So thank you for letting me have this opportunity to ask you questions. And I think we talked about quite a bit.
We did. Maybe we'll do this again in the future.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Now, you usually like to end this with a kiss.
Do I?
Yeah.
That would be you, my dear.
Oh, my goodness.
But I will give you a kiss anyway.
Well, I prefer to do other stuff.
Oh, my goodness. And everybody have a happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
Even though it's not going to be posted on Saturday, but it is Saturday here.
We hope your next Saturday is very happy.
Yeah, anyway, have a good day, everybody.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.